Hey everyone, it's Tanya here and welcome back to my channel. So in the past on this channel, you guys know we've done a few Q&As, but I thought I'd make it official of doing like an Ask Tanya hashtag, where basically this is just where we're gonna get really down and personal on the channel. And it also leads me into my next point, how I'm planning on a podcast in the future. So this is especially where in the future, for now we're doing it on my channel, but in the future this will help me lead into more things, being able to talk about certain issues, topics, advice on a podcast. So we're kind of leading into that in the future. I'm trying to plan that. Basically, the goal with that will be to start a Patreon for early release, as well as some videos, and then put it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music for free for everyone. And I'm really glad it came down to that goal to find like the perfect medium. So anyone that wants to can join the Patreon, but everyone still gets it for free. But that's a future plan. Also, I'm working with Chloe, my friend, and she's into like designing and stuff, and I might be working on merch. That's all coming soon, but this was just a little announcement. I am going to mention this once again in my next video. This is just kind of like a mini announcement. I'll mention it more as like more details and I work on it more. So someone said that they look at me as like almost like an older sister, and I took that and I was like, wow, like I'm the youngest in my family, so I don't know what it's like to be an older sister, and that like made my heart so warm because I've always wanted to know what it felt like to be an older sibling. But before I get into the whole Ask Tanya thing and the advice, I am going to do today's post notification shout out. So today's post notification shout out goes to Shrill By The Way, or BTW. Thank you so much for turning on my notifications. I really appreciate it. We are almost at 200,000 subscribers. Subscribe down below with the post notifications turned on, and we're gonna get into Ask Tanya. I think I'm gonna start off with some Twitter. This comes from Maddie, and they ask, how long does it take to make a video without editing? Now, honestly, it depends on the video, and then even when it is a type of video, it also depends what I'm doing in that video. So for example, a typical BitLife challenge takes me maybe 50 minutes to an hour of footage, just because I stumble on my words sometimes. I have to like re-say what I just said because I do stutter a bit. That might take like 50 minutes, but then if I'm doing like a really long challenge, like a social media one or a baby one or a wealth one, that might take up to 2 hours. I usually cut that down, all the boring parts or the parts where I'm silent and like just focusing. I usually cut it down to like 15-ish to 20 minutes or 12 to 20 minutes. So it can be pretty long. So there really is no one size fits all. It really depends on the video. And I am going to be making a video of how I edit my YouTube videos and the equipment I use, as well as the software I use, and how I actually go from filming to uploading, just to help anyone out there that's trying to start a YouTube channel, because I feel like that'd be really helpful. I haven't really seen a lot of people do that, so I would totally be glad to do a video like that. So Lodizzy asks, how do you get motivated to study, edit, film, etc.? It's hard, but at the same time it's not. Like when I really put my mind to something, I will do it. I've come to a point in my life where I used to have like focus issues growing up. I was the biggest procrastinator. I found it almost impossible to literally sit down for longer than like 15 minutes without checking my phone, just kind of doing something, doodling. I was the biggest doodler because of that reason. If you would look at all my elementary school and high school notebooks, there would be little images or doodles or cartoons that I'm drawing, or writing down lyrics or doing like cursive in my name, stuff like that. I feel like as I've gotten older and priorities have kind of shifted in my life, I'm not so focused on like going out with friends, kind of being carefree. I've really matured and I'm kind of just focusing on my future. And in order to do that, I need to study, I need to film, I need to edit, I need to do my research on investing, research on real estate, all that type of stuff. So I'm just trying to educate myself because you want to build these habits when you're young, not when you feel the pressure when you're older and you need to get things done and you have deadlines and bills and you're learning it all for the first time. So I feel like life lessons, experiences in life really helped me with that. I really got down into it the past like year and a half. Hannah asks, what's your favorite part of each High School Musical movie? I don't have one favorite part. I love them all. So Daniel says, I haven't fully come out. Do you have any advice that could help me? I don't know. Like, it totally depends for every person. Like, not everyone has an accepting, loving family that will take them in. There's fear involved in that. At the end of the day, if you're being yourself and your parents should love your child unconditionally, do what makes you feel safest, but also at the same time, let yourself be happy. And I really hope that that works out for you. Any tips you have on time management? Oh my gosh, yes. I was asking the same same question literally like 18 months ago. I still struggle because I do have that inner procrastinator in me that has existed within me for 20 years. Oh my God, I'm 20. Time management, what helped me? Getting on a schedule, wake up early if you can, because the earlier you wake up, the more tired you'll be later. Try to get on a good sleep schedule. I'd say 6 to 8 hours every night if you can. I know some nights it's not perfect. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, gotta just do it. Write a to-do list of everything that you would like to get accomplished. And I find that it motivates me, or kind of gives the illusion of me doing more. If I write a bunch, even though I know I'm not going to get it all done, I write as much as I can of things I want to get done in general. And then I end up checking off like 4 or 5, even though I wrote 12. Seeing more unchecked boxes makes you want to fill more boxes. And so I know in my head that the goal isn't actually completing all 12. But seeing 12 there makes me be like, dang, I only did 2 things. I should probably do another thing. Another thing is taking break. Like me personally, it was really hard in school because I was in school almost full time last year and posting YouTube videos at the same time. So I was working and doing school. And it came to the point where this is something I really wanted so bad. I was like, I need to prove to myself that like I can get good grades and also work. So in order for me to get straight A's and also keep posting on my YouTube, I'd wake up at 5 a.m. I'd be at school by 7 a.m. I would edit from 7 a.m. to 8:30, go to class, or I'd study from 7 to 8:30 depending on if I had an exam or a test that day or something like that. Right after class, I'd either edit in the library or study in the library depending on what my schedule insisted of, my to-do list, checklist of everything I had to get done. Make sure you're writing in your calendar major dates, what dates you have assignments due, exams, or what days you have your work, but still have enough time to do something you like. Doing that for about like 8 months straight really instilled those habits into my head. Quarantine has made it very hard having all the time in the world. So you feel like you have so much time to do everything. And because everyone's home, no one's working, it's kind of just like, oh, like what's the difference if I do it today or tomorrow? It's kind of all the same. So really try and schedule out your day, even during quarantine, because you want those habits to stay. What advice would you give to someone about to start college? I wish before I went to first year university, I should have taken a gap year after high school. I should have. I wasn't ready to go yet. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm still not completely sure. I've kind of made a plan that I'm kind of working towards. I would say, like, if you're going to college, make sure it is what you want to do, or it's not really that enjoyable. If I'm being honest, like, you're not going to want to study, and you're paying for it, right? You want to make sure it's something you really want to do. If college is something you really want to do, I would say scheduling. I'm not in university to meet people. I don't care about the social life, but if you do care about the social life, try and find the balance between social and school. Budget your money. Save your money if you can. If you have any money that you don't have to spend, college is expensive and you want to try and avoid as much debt as possible. If you have time to work, but try and find the best balance between social life and school. Don't think that college is this glamorous lifestyle. You're gonna be partying every week. If you're partying every week, you probably won't do well in classes that you're paying for hundreds or thousands of dollars. So really make sure you focus. Another thing is every class you have, try and find like a friend or just like a class friend. So even if you don't never talk to them outside of class, sit next to someone, just say hi, because everyone's terrified in first year. Everyone. No one knows anyone. No one knows what they're getting themselves into. The jump from high school to university is completely different with the amount of responsibility you're given, because literally in high school you're treated like children. They say you have freedom because you're 18 in high school, but they all still control you. They control what time you eat. They control what time you have to do everything. So what I would say is, let's say one day you can't make a class. You have a buddy that you can get notes from or stuff. Obviously don't abuse that friendship, right? Don't miss every class and expect that they're gonna give you the notes. Like that's a horrible thing you can do. But try and find a buddy you can get in every class, so if you do ever miss class, and they can give you their notes. And if they ever miss class and you give them your notes, then they're more likely to do that for you as well. Oh my gosh, another thing, there's so much. In university, you can plan out what time your classes are. Obviously for like classes that are mandatory, they're at a certain time, you can't change, but try and make it so that you have earlier classes. I find this was the best. Let's say your class day starts at 8 a.m. You're done by 3 p.m. You have 3 to like midnight to do whatever you want, versus your classes start at 3 p.m. Because your classes start at 3 p.m., you might not wake up at 7 a.m. to catch the bus. You're gonna wake up maybe at 10. So then really the only time of free time you have is like from 10 to 3, and you have to leave at 2 for class. You only have 4 hours for yourself, and then you're at school from 3 to 10. So I would find find that waking up, having classes earlier in the day that then finish early afternoon gives you a lot more freedom, a lot more time, less stress, and it also puts you on a really good sleep schedule of waking up early and going to bed early because you have more time. Whereas I find later classes made me stay up later at night because my brain was so activated because I just come home from class. I really hope that helps, and good luck in college. I hope it's amazing for you. What's your dream career or a big goal you want to achieve? I want to get into like real estate. I don't know. I want to finish my degree. I want to keep doing my YouTube channel, you know, fun. I enjoy it. Who knows how much longer it's going to last. Might as well enjoy it while I have it and while I have all you guys. I hope YouTube never gets shut down. Knock on wood, right? I want to finish that. That's an amazing thing to have. It looks good on a resume. I want to maybe get into real estate and stuff like that. I don't know. I've always pictured myself doing that. And I feel like maybe like later in life, being like a kindergarten teacher. I want to do a lot. I don't like to think of my life on only one path. Then I feel claustrophobic and I'm stuck. I like to have multiple pathways. Like, it's like I'm a rabbit. Oh my gosh. Like rabbits, everything in my life revolves around rabbits. Rabbits, you make them like a house out of a cardboard box. You never just put one entrance because then they feel trapped. And if a predator comes, they get terrified. You always have one here and one here so they can escape out of either one. That's kind of what I like. You have two options in life. One doesn't work, you go there. I don't want to put myself in one box, dedicate everything in my life to that one thing. And if that doesn't work out, that's my biggest fear. I have multiple goals, I guess. Okay. Next one. What video editing software do you use? I use Final Cut Pro, but for literally since the beginning of my YouTube career, I used Windows Video Maker, I think. I used to have a PC in high school. And then when I got to first university, I used iMovie because it came with my laptop I got for school for free. And then now I finally have Final Cut Pro because I was having issues with like editing. I couldn't do things in iMovie that I needed to do. Like something simply as filming in the middle, but then being able to move myself to a side without actually having to like move my body. That was getting very annoying. I would have to sit here for the intro and then physically move my chair and my body to this side to put like the episode here or the bit life or any screen recording here. But on Final Cut Pro, I could physically just move the clip. And that made the biggest difference in my editing and filming ever. Such a small thing. It was amazing. And also color correcting. That's the biggest reason why I got Final Cut Pro. Because, for example, I usually like to wear black shirts when I film, but today I felt like wearing red. So because I'm wearing red, the lighting will kind of adjust differently on my face. So I'm gonna need to adjust that in color correction on Final Cut Pro, which is a huge help. How do you balance college and social life? See, like, I'm not a big social person. I don't know. I have like 2 really close friends and I see them a couple of times a month. We talk and text, call a lot. Quarantine, like no physical contact, obviously, but before, I mean, and in the future. But I don't know. My school is different though. It's a commuter school. So not a lot of people live there, or everyone kind of comes from somewhere else, a different town, and then they go there. I wish I could say like scheduling, you know, rearrange your schedule, your class schedule. Like if you plan on partying on a Thursday, try not to book classes on Fridays. You know what I mean? But I can't say I know much about that because I don't really do social things. If you can stay up to date with lectures, stay up to date with your readings, have all your notes done, and your exam's 4 days away, pretty sure you can afford a night out and then study for the other 3 days because everything's done. Okay, so Marina asks, hello Tanya, please, I want your advice. This last month I've started hanging out with some people and we have become friends, but there is this boy in the group that has a crush on me. Oof. I know this for a fact because he has said to some girls and then they say as good friends said it to me. And yeah, he has been acting weird around me and he's been flirting with me. So yeah. Problem is I see him as a great new best guy friend and I don't feel the same way he does about me. If he asks me his girlfriend, I want to say no. But at the same time, I know that if I do say so, firstly, I'm going to hurt him even though I don't want to, and secondly, things are going to change. And the others from our friend group are going to take his side since they know him way many more years than they know me. Let me tell you, never feel guilty for how you're feeling. Don't let people guilt trip you into getting into a relationship you're not ready for. If it's someone that you really wanted to be with, if you knew they had a crush on you, you would be like, oh my God, you'd feel so much happiness. You wouldn't have this like icky feeling or feeling of like, oh no, what do I do? You would be so excited if this is something you would want, and it very much sounds like this is something you don't want. He doesn't want to be with someone that doesn't like him back. Don't say yes just because you're afraid to say no. You don't owe him yourself. You know, just because he likes you doesn't mean you have to be with him. Just have to say it in the nicest way possible. You know, like this guy, if he ever opens up about his feelings, it's a very vulnerable position. Try not to like stomp on that. You know, when someone opens up, be respectful. Be like, oh, like I really appreciate that, but you know, that's just not what I want right now for myself. And at the end of the day, if someone can't respect that, then probably not the best person to be around. People you want as your support and your friend group need to be people that respect you as a person and would never guilt trip you into making a decision that you have every right to make. Like, it's so sad because kids are cruel. Teenagers are cruel. They will make you feel like you have to do things that you don't want to do to fit in and to get popular. But peer pressure is so real, and the yearn and desire to fit in gets so strong as a preteen, teenager, adolescent, that sometimes you do things that you don't want to do, but you do them anyways because you're scared if you don't, everyone's gonna ignore you. And that's especially hard with social anxiety or like introverts, you know? I think you stay true to your gut and do what you need to do to make yourself happy. Don't live your life to please other people. That's the best thing I can say that I've learned throughout my life. At the end of the day, you're the only person who's gonna live your life, and you will not be happy in a relationship that you never wanted to be in, that you only said yes because you're afraid of making him feel bad. How do you know when you're ready to start dating someone or be in a relationship? When there's nothing holding you back from going after it. If you have any hesitation, you might not be ready. Like, I want to know, if he pees on the toilet seat, does he clean it up after himself, or does he leave it there and let it dry? You know, like those little things you don't think about, but like when you know, it's such a cliche thing, but when you know, you know. Don't rush, because if that person really loves you or cares about you or wants to get in a relationship with you, they'll wait for you. They won't pressure you or force you to be in something you don't want to be in. Most important thing though about relationships is that it's not all about the highs. There are many lows. Like 50% of the relationship will be the fun parts. 50% is also going to be arguments. Can you deal with conflict resolution? Human beings will clash no matter what. No matter how in love you are, you'll clash. That's just a matter of life. To know when you're ready to start dating someone or be in a relationship, if you have any past relationship trauma that you haven't gotten over yet or seeked help for or kind of like dealt with in yourself, I feel like make sure you are fully comfortable with yourself and make sure you fully love yourself, because when you date someone, they shouldn't become your whole life. They shouldn't be your whole life. You should have a life of your own that you're happy with, that now that you have a partner, they're gonna add on to that happiness, not become your sole happiness. So I feel like that's really important too. When you're ready, it's really hard to say, but I feel like once you're really like, yes, this is what I want to do, and I'll work on it no matter what because he's the person for me. I have yet to feel that way about someone, and I won't date someone until I do, because I'm over the whole like 6-month relationship that you then just break up, and then it's such emotional trauma for like no reason, and I just wasted 6 months of my life. So I'm trying to find that feeling where it's like I'm gonna talk to someone for like a year and then evaluate, you know? Any advice for getting over a boy? Could really use it. I do feel like a big sister now. I feel like I'm using my life experiences with like boys and dating to like help. Listen, you're probably a teenager. Feels like the end of the world, but the feeling will pass. It's so cliche. Time is the biggest healer, but it's so true. Eventually, it just doesn't hurt anymore, and you realize that there's billions of people in the world, and you're not gonna let this one person, when we're literally on a ball floating in space, ruin your life. You had an experience, take it as a learning lesson of what you don't want in your next relationship. And I feel like when you look at it like that, that helps, you know, because it's kind of like, I remember he did this to me and I didn't like that, so why am I crying over someone that probably is completely happy? It's okay to like mourn the loss, because no matter how old you are, your first heartbreak feels like a death. And that's just, I feel like that's kind of how it is for everyone. A lot of the people I knew, it kind of felt like that. For myself, it felt like that. Oh my God, looking back, I'm like, dude, I was so dramatic. In the moment, it feels so bad and it hurts a lot. And one quote I saw on Twitter, it was like, it's like once you experience your first love, it makes you realize that they weren't your first love. Something like that. Sometimes the people you aren't in relationship with hurt you the most. Remember that you were okay without him and you will be okay again. This is a temporary pain that will pass, and remind yourself of the good person that you are, and that never rely on someone else for your happiness. Do things that made you happy before you even knew he existed in the world. Pre-relationship. Appreciate the happy moments you had together and know that he came into your life for a reason, he left for a reason, and that now this is gonna help you find an even better person in the future. Try to think of the positive. It's really hard in the moment, but really try, and it'll be like a switch. For me, I kind of went from like crying for 2 months to then just being like a 180 in my head, being like, oh, why am I crying? That taught me life lessons. I'd rather be single my whole life than settle for someone that treats me like trash. That's on period. That should be for everyone. Never settle for someone that makes you feel like crap about yourself. Like, I want someone that like has goals, ambitions, works hard. I don't care what your job is. If you're working minimum wage, or like if you are working hard and you have goals that you are working towards, that to me is so amazing and so attractive. I just feel like my personality is that, well, my personality more recently, I was never like this before. I was okay with just being stuck. But now I'm just kind of like, I want to always try and improve myself, you know, like try and learn a new skill, try and reach this goal next, but still very happy that I reached this goal, but now let's try and work towards this. And I feel like that's just like an amazing trait to have, because then you can kind of work together to create new goals together. But I also want someone that's kind, that is in touch with their feminine side, because a guy that's not afraid to show femininity means that he doesn't see femininity as a weakness. And so that means that he doesn't see me as a weakness if he can appreciate femininity, just like how I can appreciate masculinity. You know what I mean? Because if he's afraid to do it himself, that means it's something to be embarrassed about. And it's like, how am I? Like, am I an embarrassment? That, I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. That's like low. That should just be a thing. Respect other people, be honest. That's like the bare minimum. And yeah, someone that just has similar goals, maybe working in the same field in the future. Someone that has a good relationship with their family. I don't really care about a guy's looks. Okay, this is the final question. Are you thinking of putting out merch? I talked about it in the beginning of the video. Yes. You guys, I've gotten like hundreds of comments asking, so I'm like, oh my God, I feel the pressure. Yeah, those are all. This is all I'm doing though. Now this, I feel like not a lot of people submitted advice stuff, but that's totally fine. Like, this is the first one, and it was more so questions, but can't wait till I eventually have my podcast and we can get some real good advice on here, and just like life questions and life and advice and sisterhood. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really did enjoy filming this. If you in the comments have more questions, use the hashtag #AskTanya in the comments with more advice, more comments. So when I do this again in the future, if you guys want, I can do one like a lot sooner. I have a feature in my comments that I can look up the hashtag #AskTanya, just like how I look up the word notification for the post notification shout out. If you ever need advice on something, if you ever have a question, use the hashtag #AskTanya, tweet me on Twitter, or just write it in the comments on this video, because then I can look it up later in comments for when I do a part 2 or when I do get to my podcast. Just a little heads up. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash the thumbs up button so I know you want to see more videos like this. Love you guys. Peace. Mwah.